Exactly 3 minutes past the top of the hour. You're right in time for our first conversation this Thursday morning. Of course, matters of entertainment taking center stage. We start off with fashion designing, just looking at the elements of this specific industry. My guest is already on set. She'll be talking to us about that and so much more. Melina Gold, who is a fashion designer, and also Eric Omonde's stylist. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
How are you doing?
I'm good. Yourself?
You're feeling easy, relaxed? You don't look relaxed. Why?
For real?
Why are you folding your hands like that? Just
as I unfold. Thank you.
Yeah. Melina Gold and the teeth to some extent. Is this why gold? Is it, or is what's in the name?
Gold is a representation of who Melina is. Yeah.
In what sense?
Melina is my original name, so I figured out the best way to describe Melina would be the gold aesthetic. Yeah.
All right. What really does fashion design entail as a fashion designer?
Well, I think fashion and design, as you term it, is very broad. It's a broad field, just like you'd say journalism or something of the sort. So there's several categories that fall under it. But I personally specify on, I have a clothing brand. So we create clothes locally. And then we also offer styling services. So that's where I come in as a stylist as well. So I double up as both a fashion designer and a stylist. Yeah.
So when you say fashion designing, is this just a preserve of creating clothes? Because you said you have a cloth line.
Yeah.
So when one is a tailor, they're also a fashion designer.
I don't think necessarily.
What's the difference?
There's something that you have to have. You know, there's that creative or that feel that you need to have. A tailor is one who teaches. A tailor, I can give a tailor a design. You know, a designer has to have the creativity to sketch, to come up with the design. The designer is the creator. And then now the tailor is the person who executes the design from the designer. But a designer can also be a tailor. As a designer, you should know how to... You
can double up.
Yeah, you can double up. You should know how to stitch and all that.
Ideally, a tailor takes from what the creator, the designer has.
Exactly. So as a designer, I don't necessarily have to sit on the machine as many people would expect, but I take part in the creation process. I ensure I've come up with the pieces, and then I hand it over to my tailors to now execute the whole thing. Yeah.
Now we know the difference. You know, a tailor will say, I'm a fashion designer. Yeah. But now it really, there's a
I think for you to be a designer, you really need to have that eye.
You have
because you know, as a tailor, I can bring you a design to just stitch. You know, tailors just stitch. You know, but for you to have that creative eye, that's where the whole being a designer aspect comes in.
Okay, well said. So then, when you talk about it in that sense, you actually do sit down and do the sketches. You do.
I have to.
You have to.
Yeah.
What then inspires your creative work?
Well, I think it depends with what I'm necessarily working on at that particular point. So I get inspirations from different things. Can get the inspiration by just being here.
Really?
Yeah.
Now you are here. What are you seeing?
I just get different creatives when I see
cameras. You got here like 20 minutes ago.
All that, yeah. So definitely I get inspired. I can imagine like who I'd be probably dressing right now in this room or whatever. So it can be anything. It can be in the environment. It can be the mood. It can be the occasion. It depends really. Yeah, but I think it's something that just comes out really naturally. Yeah.
So for you, there's no like specificity. I just have to be in my own moment, in my own zone. It could be anywhere. You could even be seated in a matatu or in a cab, in a car. You could even be just talking with me, but then something is running through your mind.
Exactly.
Oh, this is really quite interesting.
Yeah, it's so random.
So how long have you been doing this?
I think I started during COVID, during the COVID period.
2020?
Yeah. So it's almost two years.
2.5 years.
Yeah.
2.5 years.
Yeah.
How has it been?
Well, like any other business, it has its ups and downs, but like I'm so grateful that my vision got this far. You know, as you're starting something, you never know like will it work out, will it not, but I'm glad that my vision has gotten this far, so it gives me motivation to even push harder and further.
Yeah, we'll come to those bits and pieces that you're talking about. That's like in every other business, there's definitely it has its high and low moments. And I mean, business is not easy. Nothing is easy, but business is just also
true.
not easy. But again, in hindsight, also as you look back, since 2020, you also work with a recommended good number of celebrities. And I want to assume that maybe there's more to...
Yeah, definitely, definitely. You should actually check out our page.
Okay, I hear you. So how were you able to just also get in contact with some of these big names? Because, I mean, 2 years, one would say you're still just trying to get the ropes, you're trying to get into the business, you're trying to find your footing, knowing your true north and all. But then how were you able to even just get into contact with some of these big names and work with them?
Well, I tend to believe it's because I offered something that was not in the market. Because, you know, my style is extra, my style is weird, and my niche clients are celebrities or public figures. And I don't think there was anyone really who was, you know, stitching what I stitched. So I came up with something new in the market. So as I started, of course, there was that struggle of getting these people. But of course, once my work was out there, people saw my work, so definitely had people reaching out and all that, and so that's how I get some of the people. I
wish my director could return some of those you know, images. Yes, thank you, Mr. Director, thank you. This is how unique your style is. What's this, Melina?
Well, this is
it polythene? Because I've also seen something that I'll ask you momentarily.
Oh yeah, this is polythene. This is like a trash. A trash bag. Of course, it's something that no one would come up with. Like
this is actually just moment. This is actually the trash bags that we use for trash. So the polythene black one.
Yes.
Okay, keep on.
So of course, Erikomondi is a comedian. Erikomondi is a public figure. So everyone looks up to him, and I believe Erikomondi understands showbiz. And as a comedian, that's why we're talking about him right now today, this early morning, because he keeps us.
Actually, it's your style that is making us talk.
Yeah, because you know he keeps us on toes, and that is why it's entertainment. Because entertainment is supposed to entertain the people. You know, so that's why we have to explore different designs, come up with different creativity, both for showbiz and talent as well.
And that design really quite caused the conversation on the socials. So how do you even stitch that? I mean, this is a polythene bag.
Yeah, and that's where creativity comes in.
Just talk to me. I mean, also, maybe not in detail. No. We just want to understand, also just for the benefit of our viewers, because you're here.
Yeah, definitely.
How do you even conceptualize such an idea? Because I'm not really wanting to imagine that you'd think, okay, we've seen extreme designs even from the West.
Yeah, true.
But then, I mean, just tell me more. How do you even conceptualize this kind of...
Yeah, you know, like any other thing, you need a foundation, even like building a house or something. Definitely. So we have to sit and think, what do we want to work on? You know, what is our aim? You know, what are we going for? So we choose the fabric, we decide on the fabric, you know, what's unique, what's weird, you know, what has never happened, or just weird things, So once we figure that out, then we figure out which design we're working on, and then we can either stitch or we can also do draping. It depends.
Okay. So there's definitely something different aside from just stitching.
Yeah, true.
Because I'm not really wanting to imagine how you would stitch.
Yeah, polythene bag, definitely.
Polythene,
Yeah.
So yes, you sit, discuss, but for this particular one, how, of course you start with the team, definitely. How long does this take? How do you take in ideas and sift out some that would not really come into what your vision is? Just walk me through, you know, the process of actually getting the final product, exactly.
Well, for us, actually what makes us different or unique, it's our speed. Because you see, our clothes, most of them are customized pieces. They're not ready-made pieces. So we try to customize exclusively for our clients. But you always find, like, even if you now approach probably a tailor and ask for a dress, they'll tell you probably wait for 3 days, 1 week, you know, to get it customized. But for us, we do it like in hours. That's what makes us different. So we come up with creative designs, but also the speed is very, very fast, because we always try to consider, probably in a rush, you're flying out tomorrow, you need something real quick, you know, so we have to be in a position to come up with a design, everything stitched, and ensure everything is ready within hours. So it's a very fast fast
So you
process.
definitely have a team.
Yes, definitely.
How did you just come about to have a team that sees your vision? Because, I mean, looking at what you've done in a span of 2 years, you've done well for yourself. One would imagine you've been here for the past, I don't know how many years. But in just 2 years, and here you are, we're actually making designs that we can sit and discuss about, you know, in a morning show such as this one. So then, coming up with such a team that understands your vision, understands your mission, understands where Melina wants to be as a fashion designer, how did you come out with this? Because you've just given a good example. I mean, sometimes, not all, but at times, when you take even your design, you even have it in your head as a client to a tailor, it will take sometimes ages, and you won't find it. And you also definitely work hand in hand with, you know, tailors, so to speak. So how do you just come up with such a team that understands what you want?
That was one of the hardest things to come up with, kwa sababu, you know, the vision is, it needs like someone who's on toes, you know, someone who's fast, someone who's hardworking, someone who can work under pressure for us to achieve like all this within that duration of time. So it was quite a hassle, but I thank God, I found like people who share the same visions, and I work with young people, by the way. So, you know, young people are vibrant, are creative and all that. So the team is a bit chop.
So you just decided people that will understand.
And a lot of training as well. You know, no one can just come and just do it within a day. So it took time to, you know, train these people and just work with them hand in hand until like they get to the point where I feel like this is now the right direction.
Like, how long did it take with the trainings, and how do your trainings look like?
Well, I can't like narrow it down to a specific period of time because we had some people coming, going before we settle now to the main person, and this is within that period of 2 years. So you can imagine.
You really had your ducks in the row, like you knew what you wanted. And this is also part of what has made you to just actualize this in 2 years. What makes a good fashion designer?
Well, I think for me it's your position to, or your ability to stand out, you know, like what are you giving us that is different from, you know, clothes, the designs are almost the same. It's a dress, it's a skirt, it's a top, it's pants, it's t-shirt. So what are you offering us? You know, it's about, I think it's more about the creativity, the inclusivity, you know, what are you offering your people? And also different designers have different niche clients. That's why I personally specified to probably celebrities as my main clients, because I knew I would offer them what exactly they're in need. There's someone who would focus on probably plus size, older women, or it depends. So I think in whatever field or wherever you've specified yourself as a designer, I think your creativity and what you're offering to your clients should be 100%.
So then how would you describe your style? As Melina, if someone just meets you, you say you're a fashion designer, how would you describe your style?
Well, I think naturally I'm just weird and extra. So even like sometimes when I'm on a t-shirt like this and just normal pants, people will be like, hey,
something is
what's going on, you know? So because people are just used to me, even when I'm just going to the shop or anywhere, I'm just always extra.
Is this something you really wanted to do growing up, or you just found yourself in the space?
Well, I don't think it's something that I wanted to do. Nilijipata when I was in campus. I was studying in Daystar, so when I was almost completing campus, are you in Daystar? That's nice. I always bump into the students. So when I was almost finishing, I figured out I need to do something, because people are getting degrees and all that, but I can see people still out there hustling, struggling, blah, 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 even with masters. So I had to figure out something to do as I clear school. So that's how it came about, and
Unakaa nika wewe ulikuwa naenda kwa dupa niko na ingo, you know, in this there's
I remember,
and we'll come to that in a bit, but I'm seeing director has posted again one of your weird you just, that's why I asked you, how would you describe your style? And you said weirdos.
But now for this, we actually had an issue with Eric, because he did not consult me when he was coming up with this. He did it himself. He did it himself because I was not around, and he did not consult me. So I don't personally think that it goes with my vision. I actually find it disturbing.
But why? It's weird also.
Yeah, it's weird, but it's disturbing, because I had a couple of people, even just by looking at the image, they felt like it was sensitive, like they felt it needed to have the, you know. So that's the issue I'm having with Eric right now. But yeah, he's still my client, and
still your
shall
client.
resolve.
It's disturbing, just a bit too much extra. But don't you think it's largely also part of your designs, like how you
design? It is, but I feel like you should just let me do my work.
as a stylist, she lets you do, you know, do your work, and him to just be the client as is. So then, working with these celebrities, because you're saying you were away, he did not consult you, and I want to imagine that this could be a good number of ways in which some fashion designers here and there look at how things are, especially when they're working with big names and celebrities.
Yeah, true.
How is it working with such big personalities?
Well, it has its share of crazy, because, you know, everyone has their own, you know, as a personality, you're busy, or, you know, you're having tours, you're having interviews, shows, blah, blah. So it's a crazy space. You have to learn how to work with these people and their time and their personalities. Yeah, so, but it depends. It has their share of positivity and negativity as well. Yeah.
Which is the most, who's the most difficult one to work with?
Well, I can't mention, I wouldn't want to mention, but there are quite a number, though. There
are quite a number that you've worked with, that we
so of course. And I think it's normal. Even here, I'm sure you have people who it's hard to deal with.
And we can't mention. I totally understand you. Just makes a lot of sense. So for the purpose of, quite a lot significant. Sure, does make sense. But again, much as you would say in that regard, because you just said also in that particular last design, and I'm seeing it also on Twitter, is really quite causing the conversations there. So in such an instance whereby this personality that to whom you're working with does not consult you, goes ahead, because, you know, people also have different personality types, true. So you feel that I also want to do it, and just as this one has been done, how do you come back in agreement? Just talk to me how you also come and resolve as the fashion designer and the personality.
Well, I think it would be a bit awkward if we didn't have a personal relationship with the client. But someone like Eric,
from there,
someone like Eric is someone I've worked with for a long period of time. We know each other, we understand each other. I know how to approach him.
Was this before even you began in 2020, or from there?
We started working officially after I got into the industry, but you remember Eric was also in Daystar, so we used to be acquaintances before we started working together. So we have a personal relationship, so it's easier for me to, you know, call him out or him to call me out, so it's easier to deal with him like that.
That's quite interesting. So talk to me about the work ethics, even of a fashion designer. How does a proper work ethic look like for you to also be sustainable in the industry?
I think understanding your business, because every business is different. Just because someone else or another company is doing this, you incorporate it to you. So understand your core, you know, values and all that, and then go with it. Respect your clients, respect your ensure there's that respect, because I've also seen people being taken advantage of, even on set, stylists, vixen. We're stylists. I personally, you can't do that to me. Before I work with you, you have to sign a contract. You know,
it just has to be that way.
Yes, the director, the client, and all that, because I believe there has to be that form of, because I'm not doing you a favor. You're paying me for me to give you a service. So it's like an interchange of services. So I think having such values and ethics and understanding your brand is really, really important. It will help you have a good relationship with your clients and also your clients to yourself.
Fashion is art. It's an industry in the art space, and you just did mention something that I really think it's quite pivotal and very important, that before you even work with a company, client, whatever it is, you have to have a formal agreement to also avoid these issues of exploitation, because you just said that sometimes someone say, we're stylists, we're kujapa, paka, you make up, you know, just quite a lot of things really happen in this space. So in your perspective, as someone who has been in this space, because 2 years is not a small time. It's some good significant amount of time. Do you think this is one of those things that people in the arts miss? We don't really, I wouldn't say the need to sign, but we don't make things formal. That sometimes you even feel like this company is even doing you a favor to have you on board, whereas you are also giving them services. So
or some people think just because you're working with a big personality, because this is a Ricomondi or this is Calligraph, you feel like you're less, which should not be the case, because they need you. That's why they called you. That's why they paid you for you to offer your services, because they need you. So both of you need each other. So it's more like a partnership. Yeah, so people really need to understand that you're selling your craft like it's an art you're selling to these people. So the respect they need to give you should be high. That's why you see internationally, designers are big people. You know, like when a big designer walks in here, it's a big deal. Paparazzi and everything. Stylists, they're big people outside. Because it's art, but I feel like locally we still haven't found the value of art. You know, when you tell someone you're a designer, people won't even understand. Unafanyanga nini?
That's why I had to ask you, what does fashion design entail?
Yeah, but this is something that is so big, you know. So, but I believe we are the ones to make the industry get to that level, to that international level.
I hear you, Melina. So then, in your recommendation, what would you say people in the arts need to be doing? Because I still feel when it comes to the art space, especially the talent, because the stylist, you're the one giving that service to either the company or the client or the personality, and this cuts across. So this is now the talent. So what would you, in your recommendation, say the talents need to be doing to make sure that things are formal? Because you realize in the art space, there's a lot of exploitation, a lot of it.
I think people need to understand the value of their art. I think when we take that
even that talent needs to understand.
Yeah, that talent needs to understand the value of their art. Because you see, styling, I can come, kuna mtu ashainiambia nimtumanishe vitu na bike, and I was like, what the hell? Because
had you met before?
No, it was the first time working with me, and they're like, could you send me the things with the boda? And I'm like, I can't do that. You know, I can send you a dress, earrings, shoes, belt. Will you know how to put it together? But when I'm there physically, that is a skill that you cannot have. I cannot send that skill with a border. I have to be there physically. You know, if you're a singer, you have to be there. If you are the one singing, your assistant can't sing on your behalf. You personally have to be there. So your talent is very, very important. So people have to find value for that, and don't, if your price is 10,000, or if you feel like your worth is 10,000, don't underestimate. Just because ni calligraph amekwambia mimi ndakupatia 2K.
But someone would say nakupatia platform hata when you start up. How do you navigate such?
Well, I think you have to understand, because even that is important. Like when I was starting, I collaborated with a couple of people. Even now I can. But I have to be very specific. What value are you adding to me? You know, I can work with Eric or this person. He might not pay me on that specific one day. But when I look at this person, I feel like he'll give me, first of all, he might give me the platform. Number two, I might get several projects.
So you also look at
from
the value.
You just look, and is it beneficial for you? Don't just run to any influencer or any celebrity to come build you. No, they're also trying to build themselves. Understand that. So find the really correct people to incorporate in your brand in terms of collaboration. If not, let them pay for your services.
Because I feel like that's where the issue normally comes from. That someone would feel, no, this is a big name, it's a big brand, and sometimes they would even tell you, nakupatia platform.
It's not necessarily. You can be having 1 million followers, but you can even tag me, I will not even get even 1 follower, 1 client, 1 nothing. So but you can be having like 10,000 or even 5,000, but the traction I get from you, the clients I get from you, you know, you might not be that big on social media, but probably you have, you know, referrals and proper interactions, definitely.
So look at the value that you'll get from this.
And is this person directly related to your brand? Like, will I use Calligraph? Will I use Maureen Waitito? You know, who's the right person for my brand? Followers wake, angalia followers wa Calligraph. Are they people who can buy your stuff worth 10,000? Or are they people who can buy stuff worth 2,000? So you really have to look at all these things.
Okay. So then this also simply means that sometimes, even when you look at your gainings, doesn't really oftentimes have to be monetary wise, but just look at the holistic aspect of what value. It could be money in that regard, it could be influence, it could be a platform that will give you more other. Just look at what you really are standing to get. It's a give and take.
Exactly.
Okay. How do you keep up with trends? I mean, fashion is one of those industries that it changes very fast. It's dynamic. How do you keep up with trends?
Well, you have to be on toes. You have to be getting more creative every day. Look at what is going on in the market. What can you do different? You know, and all that. You have to be on toes. Otherwise, people will forget you, especially in a time like this where you have to be relevant. So if you're not relevant, then people will just forget you like you never existed. Yeah.
That's why I like putting arts in one category, because in whatever space of art you're in, art, even journalism, it's art. If you are not looking for ways to be relevant, people forget you very quickly.
Exactly.
And that is the same with what you do.
Yeah, true.
So just staying relevant. So for you, is it like going online and looking at what's trending and trying to incorporate that? Is it you reading? Just from your personal perspective of keeping up, you as Melina, with your style?
Well, I think it's a wide range of research. I try to research a lot, both locally and internationally. I try to see what are people doing locally, you know, what marks are they missing. So I just look at all that, and then I try go a step ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well said. So is there a fashion designer in Kenya whom you look up to internationally as well? Locally, I'm not quite sure. When you're your own person?
No, it's not like I'm hating. I'm not quite sure. I'm not like looking up to, but I love their fashions, like Style by Naomi. I like how she stitches and all that.
Yeah. She has very good designs.
Exactly. So I love her designs. Internationally, I think it's so many people, like so many people, because I think I follow trends from outside more. But all in all, I learn from everyone, locally, internationally, even fundi, like I take notes everywhere I go. Yeah, it's
all about the aspect of learning.
True.
Again, just what you're saying orients my next question, that is it also one of the things that is sometimes lacking in the art space and maybe fashion, that we always think that I am talented, I'm good enough, I have the gift, why do I need to keep learning? We also miss that part, so then that's why there's that bit of not being relevant.
Yeah, I think that's a big issue, a very, very big issue, especially in Kenya, even in music.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I feel our directors, our wasanii, our artists, that's why they're comfortable. Yeah, that's why even Eric is complaining every day. Our artists are comfortable, everyone is comfortable. You feel like now, okay, Karibun Seme Calligraph, I've used him a lot, you might think I have a beef with him. But it's the first name that is coming up. So let's say someone like Masauti or anyone, they feel like, oh, I'm too big, Kenyans know me, you know. So you relax, so you just go to the studio, release music, chill. But you're not looking forward to how can I, you know,
grow myself.
Yeah, that's why Kenyans hawatoki Kenya, unapata wakienda sana maybe ni TZ ama Uganda, but it's just here in Kenya until you're forgotten.
Yeah, and we'll be having artists coming up
and
next.
They start asking for help.
Yeah, we'll be having artists coming up, and they're telling us if that's actually the case, that there's a bit of comfortability in the industry. But from your perspective, you think, especially people in the arts, there's a lot of comfortability. Once you get to a certain place, you feel like, kwanza kama nimeketi hapo na nitalipwa, or I'm so sure after releasing this song, because it has happened before, so someone doesn't see the need to do more in that regard. Like do more in your scope, do more in your style, for instance, do more in your field. Sibuna niju already, why am I even doing
and they're
extra?
forgetting that there are people, young people coming up, which is crazy in this generation, because by 17, 18, unapatana na watu, and they're so young, and they're working, and they're entrepreneurs, they're social media, they're influencers, TikTokers, and they're so young. So these people are coming up, and these people can easily overtake you if you don't keep on.
Directors are already starting to say that we need to wrap it up at this point, but anytime they say you need to wind up, that's when you realize you have a lot to talk about. But we have to finish at this point, and I just want us to finish by you telling me what is the one thing you have learned that you're carrying along as you continue to be just a fashion designer or in the industry of art?
Well, I think be original and stay original. Like you, just be you. Yeah.
That is heavy. Be original and stay
original throughout.
Yeah, there's so much I could have asked, but we really have to finish at this point. Nonetheless, thank you so much for your time, Melina. Highly appreciate your valuable inputs into this conversation.
Thank you so much. I had so much fun. And I'm glad you're a Daystarian.
We speak from the same place. All right, thank you so much. I have been speaking to Melina Gold, who is a fashion designer and also Eric Omondi's stylist, just talking to us about her journey in the industry, the highs and the lows, and just also what you need to know if at all this is the space and the scope you really want to be getting into. Good place to end this conversation, but definitely Good Morning Kenya continues after this very short break. Stay with us.